Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to KP. Annalise here. So our Holy Spirit was leading me to share. Gotta correct this. Holy Spirit was leading me to share. So in that, make sure you test the spirit by the spirit to see if it's a word that is for you, what parts are for you, and if it's a right now word or if it's a shelved word. Either way, bring this back to Abba so he can minister to you what is being said, if it is something that's Holy Spirit filled, Holy Spirit led, and if it is something that is for you. Because remember, everything that we see that is good, that looks good, may be possibly evil. Everything that might be good may not be God, and then everything that may be God still may not be for you. Everything is not for you. Just like you don't like everybody, not everybody is for you, and that the same goes for just things in general. Any noun, person, place, or thing. With that being said, Abba was leading me to share, and this is going to be very unpopular opinion. I feel like he has dropped this in my spirit, and I've been like, I want to say I've been procrastinating to do it, but I've also been trying to like wait to see if he has anything else to say with it, because it's just like, okay, but just trusting Holy Spirit and hopping up here. Very unpopular opinion, and a lot of you may not like this, but when it comes down to, ooh, help me, Holy Spirit. Goodness gracious. Okay. When it comes down to loyalty, when it comes down to character, when it comes down to respect, when it comes down to those things in general, there, you do not, how do you say, ooh, goodness. Just because you are old does not mean that you get this undying and unconditional loyalty and respect from anybody and everybody that you are around. Oh, goodness. Gotta take my glasses off for this one. So, ooh, go ahead, Holy Spirit. Hold on. You can't do that. Like right when I turn record on, you can't sit here just downloading. Anyways, thank you, Holy Spirit. Um, when it comes down to being old, there's a difference between being old and being an elder. Back in the day, you used to be able to come to an elder, and an elder can give you advice and give you wisdom because they've experienced things. When they've experienced things, it's not speaking from emotion, it's not speaking from their opinion, it's not even speaking from culture and the world. Most of the time, when they were speaking and you had a respected elder that when they spoke, everyone listened, was because their wisdom came from experience. And that experience, they had enough wisdom to understand when they're giving advice and they're um, relaying this back to other people and younger people, that it wasn't for them to bleed on them or to say certain things with anger or to say certain things with pain and hurt. They gave them what they needed in that moment. Ooh, Holy Spirit. When it comes down to that, you cannot confuse the two of being old with being an elder. Being an elder commanded the room. Being an elder commanded respect because deep calls out to deep. The room understood that wisdom was in the room. The room understood that wisdom was here. Wisdom was speaking. So there's a way that it commanded respect because there was wisdom from their experience. And again, they knew how to speak without bleeding on other people. They knew how to speak without speaking in anger or giving advice and giving strategy, giving direction in anger or in pain or with a filtered lens. When they did that, that is how you yielded this space of elders and being able to come to elders for advice, for life hacks, for life things, for all of these giving things that literally help you in life. When you back in the day, you automatically knew to go to your grandma to know what to do with something. You automatically knew to go to your grandpa to know what to do with something. Now, that's not everybody, because some of them were still toxic and dysfunctional. But there was a level of respect that were for elders because they commanded the room with the wisdom they had. They also respected people. And it was also in the correction of the undisciplined, in the space of, you can't act like that, you can't speak to like that. We speak to each other with respect, we speak to each other with some type of dignity, we speak to each other with a space of loyalty. There was a level of loyalty that was in family that's not in the same, it's not in the same breath today. Now, again, it wasn't perfect then. Unless it is built on Jesus, it is sinking sand. But again, it was more relevant. It was more, um how do you say, it was more there. Where now it's like you have it, and this is the end times, as it speaks in, I believe it's Matthew 24, speaking on how you will have people turning on each other, you know, people not, and I'm paraphrasing, people not loving one another, wars and rumors of wars, all of these things. And you're going to have people hating one another, and fighting with one another. And this is even going to be in marriages and in families and whatnot. What's happening is Abba is separating the wheat from the tare. There's a great shaking that is going on. If it is not built on Abba, it's going to fall, it's going to sink. So with all of that great shaking, whatever fell is whatever was not built on Abba, what was not built on Jesus, not built on a firm foundation. Elders also taught you. It wasn't just telling you one time, it wasn't just showing you one time. Elders also taught you. And what I mean by taught you is they showed you how to do it. They explained to you how to do it. And as you moved on, and as you trained whatever you were doing, they would literally come in and set your elbows right, set your arm right, add in a little bit of this, turn your wrist up a little bit. They would come in and actually show you. They would also come in and show you how to do something, not just speaking at one time, not just showing you how to do it one time. They would continually show you how to do it. Just like when you're in school, when you're learning math, when you're learning social studies, you're learning science, you're learning reading and writing and whatnot. You don't just go through the alphabet one time and it's, oh, you got to know it. I just went through it. I just went through the whole alphabet. What do you mean you don't understand? What do you mean you don't know? You don't just go through the alphabet one time in order to learn how to use sounds. You don't just go through the sounds one time in order to learn how to blend words and how to make words sound and begin to spell. You don't sit there and do that once in order for you to learn how to read. You don't just read once and then, oh, you read everything. Or you can read all of these books that have like a lot more advanced vocabulary in them. You don't do it once, you don't just hear it once in order for you to know it. But nowadays, as it says, there will be wars and rumors of wars with this great shaking. You are understanding that everybody who is old does not have that same wisdom that great 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 grandpa had and great 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 grandma had. Being old does not render this respect or undying loyalty, unconditional loyalty, just because you're old. You cannot treat anybody any kind of way. You cannot speak to anybody any kind of way. And just because you're old, you get to sit here and command what you want to be done. You cannot walk around the world as if everybody is beneath you and beneath your feet just because you are old. There is a lot of old people in these days that are very much so teenagers in old people bodies. Teenagers in 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old bodies. Teenagers. that really have no emotional control, no emotional awareness, no emotional acknowledgement. They cannot apologize. They also have a very much either a passive spirit, a Ahab spirit, where they just let anything fly, especially when there's a group or posse around, or it's a Jezebel spirit, and that Jezebel spirit is very manipulative, very petty, and very how is it? Hide your tail. The elders nowadays, excuse me, the old people nowadays do not have that same level of wisdom. They went through things and just went through them. They never learned from it. They never understood what it was. They never understood how to extract from that without picking up the trauma and the dysfunction and the drama and the toxicity. They never learned how to draw from that. They just went through stuff. Again, it's not everybody, but it's a great majority of us, or great majority of the old people. And nowadays you cannot look to old people in order for you to gather wisdom, especially as Abba is pouring out his spirit on his sons and his daughters. As he's pouring out his spirit, there is a level of wisdom that is different. There is a level of wisdom that is new. See, I do a new thing. Do you not perceive it? As he's pouring out, there are things that he is having his sons and daughters do that are going to be things that the old people do not have a recollect for. And because they don't have a recollect for it, they either deny it, push it away, weaponize it, demonize it, shun you for it, exile you for it. And because they don't understand and they don't get it, they mislabel it. And this is where you have a lot of things and a lot of tension that is coming on with the whole thing that we've been doing as far as in parent wounds and the the other different ones that we've been doing. Geez, I can't remember all the titles, because when I ask Holy Spirit what the title is, and he gave me the title, and it's just like, okay. And then sometimes I go back and I'm like, I said that. Oh goodness. Anyways, and it won't me. It was Holy Spirit, of course. But there's a big difference, and you cannot go to old people nowadays and get that good advice, because they speak from a place of pettiness. They speak from a place of anger. They speak from a place of pain. They do not speak from a place of wisdom, from experience, in the space of they went through things and they extracted what needed to be learned out of it. They learned the lesson. And nowadays, you see a lot of old people that are getting worse and worse and worse because they refuse to get an update. They refuse to learn something new. They refuse to lay down the old to understand the new. You cannot put new wine into old wineskins. You cannot walk around and say, "Oh, just because I'm old, you have loyalty to me," and you don't have loyalty to the people that you are commanding loyalty from. You cannot sit here and walking around commanding respect, yet you do not respect the people that are around you, no matter how old they are. Human beings are human beings. There should be respect both ways around. A lot of them like to use this space of, because I'm the mother or because I'm the father and I did all of this. This is what we were talking about in the space of you're not a pet. They think because they do all of these things, oh God, thank you, Holy Spirit. They think because they do all of these things that you are to have undying loyalty and unconditional loyalty, just like a pet would. In that, Abba was highlighting how people train their pets. In how people train their pets. Some of them you can see like on TikTok and whatnot. Hang on. Like on TikTok and whatnot, or whatever you're watching, YouTube shorts, whatever it is. You can see like these very, very sweet, loving, caring parents or pet owners that really love their pets. They groom them, they give them massages, they give them facials, they give them really good food, they train them, they play with them. This one that was super cute, it was this golden retriever. I believe her name is Wally or Matt. It's either Wally or Molly. I want to say Wally, but anyways, she She basically opens up her own presents, which is so cute, and then she takes her present around and she parades it around to show everybody. It's so freaking cute. But you also see the a lot of abuse when it comes to puppies or kittens being thrown out on the side of the road. You also see the way that some people train their pets, and the way that they will not let them eat, or they will uh, either beat them or keep them in a certain space for a very long time and only let them come out for a short amount of time. What this does is it's a very much so a survival mode conditional type of training. And a lot of the parents don't realize they're doing this. But even in that space, it's a that conditioning. They think that because, oh well, I made sure you went out, even though you were sitting here in the cage for however long, you got to come out a little bit. So because you got to come out a little bit, you need to thank me for that. You need to commend me for that. You might not have ate every day, but you might not have ate twice a day or three times a day, but you ate. Even though you might have starved the whole day or for a couple days or maybe even longer than that. What I'm saying is, thank you, Holy Spirit, that there is a conditioning. And in that conditioning, it's a level of, because I did the bare minimum, not realizing where the bar is. Again, we were talking about is spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. They think because they do the physical, and they don't even do the physical, because with the physical, they are replacing their presence with presents like gifts. So you begin to understand, as you healed, you didn't enjoy them, you enjoyed what you got, the toys you got, the gadgets you got, the food you got to get. When you got to go out to get a frosty, or you got to go out to get a happy meal, you got to go out to eat or whatever, you got to go to a party, you got to go out skating, you got to go to the mall, you got a new phone, whatever you got, it was the things that make you light up. It was the things that make you lit. It wasn't them. And so there is the disassociation where they think because they stepped in with their presence in the space physically with their gifts, they think that that replaces their presence, that replaces the connection, that replaces the intimacy. Intimacy and connection is the most potent, and it's the most crucial, and it's the most valuable thing you can ever get in a relationship. If you do not have that intimacy and that connection, you really don't have a relationship. You don't have a connection. You don't have intimacy. There is really no relationship with that. I was highlighting that point to give a perspective in the space of, you are not a pet. They do not get to just treat you any kind of way, do the bare minimum, command respect and loyalty from you, and then turn around and not give it to you. A lot of them like to run with, because I am the parent, because I did XYZ physically with the presents, the gifts, that there is that command for that entitlement, for that undying loyalty, for that undying unconditional loyalty, for that undying respect, and that unconditional respect. So that means the way that they see it is, they can treat you any kind of way, they can say anything to you, and because they are the parent and because they did XYZ, they can do whatever they want, confusing the two of being old with being an elder. Now, with that being said, there's also a level of victimization where they like to play the victim in this space of, I did this and I did this and I did all of that, and how much am I supposed to do, and da 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 and da da da. There was a K-drama I was watching. I can't remember which one it was called. I can't remember what it was called. It was very, very good. I'll have to go and see if I can tag it in here. Anyways, the K-drama I was watching, he was basically like this CEO of this company, and he can read people very well. That's what it's called, My Secretary's Secret Life. He can read people very well just by looking, seeing their faces, seeing their facial expressions, etc., etc. But something happened where he fell, and the plate that was in his head from when he was a kid got shifted to where he could not recognize faces in the space of he had space blindness. That's actually a thing. So in him having face blindness, his secretary had to be the one to help him, because when she had on her sweater, she was the only face he could recognize or even see, though he could not read her facial expressions. He could see her face, but he couldn't see what faces and whatnot she was making. With that being said, there was a part in the movie where in the show, where he had a best friend, that where the best friend was just feeling like he was kind of just being used almost. He wasn't, but then it was just like, I'm always there for you, I'm always doing this for you, I'm always setting this up for you, I'm always. And there was this girl that he ran into, which is what's her name, uh I can't remember her, I can't remember her name. It was the way she did it, um the way she did it, and she would always hold her hand out like this, and she was just like after she would say her name, and it was hilarious. She was just very loud, very boisterous. She's a very loud type of rich person who just, of course, was loud with her money and everything. But she fell for the friend. In her falling for the friend, they were in this set. It's like movie set. Because I think she was an actor too. Anyways, they were in this movie set, and he was just basically saying like, "Look, I've done all that I can do. I did the best that I could. Like, I tried, and I put my all into it, etc., etc." And she was basically saying like, when you say you're going to do your best for someone, you continue to do your best for someone, especially in the times that they need you. When you're saying you did all you could, you're really saying that I don't want to do anymore. And when it comes down to the space of just culture and society, what it is pushed as is, once you're turned 18, you can get out and do whatever you need to do on your own. Or some of them take it to the extreme, because I seen this video with this lady, this baby girl. She was 17, just graduated. She took baby girl with her bag of clothes, and snatched her phone and kicked her out of the house. And the other sister was laughing, and she's like, "What are you laughing for? Because when you graduate, you about to be doing the same thing. Get out my house." And there's a lot of toxicity like that. um there's a lot of just this energy of, I did all I could, which is really saying I don't want to do anymore. And not understanding that the responsibility that came with you opening up your legs came with a lifelong responsibility. When you have kids and when you have children, you're responsible for them until you die. Not until they're grown, not until they figure it out, not until they, what you call now. This does not mean you baby them. This does not mean you give them everything. This does not mean you don't let them work for things. You don't let them, you know, grow, etc., etc. It does not mean that. But it does mean that you are there for them in every aspect of the sense until you pass. And so a lot of parents don't understand that, because of what has been conditioned for them. And as well as, sometimes it also gets kind of misconstrued in the space of the um help me, Holy Spirit, the it gets a little bit misconstrued in the space of the different thank you, Holy Spirit. It's the fantasizing, or the fantasization of, or the romanticizing, thank you, Holy Spirit, of like what was. Sometimes, like for example, and this is not a popular opinion, um, when someone may pass, and you may go to the funeral, the wake, or whatever, and you give either a speech, or even if you have your words, they start to say pretty much lies like, You were the greatest dad. You were the greatest mom. I wish I had more time with you. I wish we would have figured it out. Da da da, and all of this, and they're boohoo crying, um, basically pulling and tugging at their expectation of what they had for that parent or for that loved one, not what it actually was. And it's like, hold on, like, wait a minute. No, they were a terrible parent, great employee, but terrible parent. Um, they were not there for you. They did not love you. They did not support you. They shunned you. They did things. They talked about you. They mistreated you. They treated you like a pet, commanding that loyalty and respect, because they did bare minimum. And because they did bare minimum, they thought, they were entitled to the respect, they were entitled to the loyalty, and they were entitled to your life and anything that you owned, anything that you grew, anything that you uh acquired. Because you'll see in the space of, especially for the elite chosen ones, as we begin to fly. When I was just talking about, in the little shorts or whatever, I was talking about Wild Robot, and you see the way he was learning how to fly. He then flew with all of the other goose or geese. In that, Abba saying there's a lot of us, it's going to be a flock of us flying like that. We might not all be flying together, we might not all be in the same vicinity, but it's going to be a lot of us taking off like that. And when we take off like that, they are going to come back. They're going to smile in your face. They are going to um trying to find their wiggle way room back in. And a lot of times they're going to use that, those, pull on those heartstrings of, okay, I'm your mother, or I'm your father, and I did this and I did that, and you owe me. You don't owe them a thing. You don't owe them a thing. They didn't act like a parent, so you do not have to treat them like a parent. You treat them like who they are, who they showed you they are, who Abba showed you they are. And you, of course, take it back to Abba in order for you to understand strategy and etc. of what to do, what not to do, all of the things. Again, all of this you bring back to Abba, and this is, again, not for you to use it as weaponization. It's for you to use it as understanding, to understand what is happening, to understand what is going on. They will come back trying to say, oh, da da da, and da da da, and smile in your face, but they're not happy for you. They're not happy for you. They are jealous of you. They are envious of you. They are covetous of you, and they're trying to see what they can get. You are going to be able to understand, and this is also part of the great shaking that Abba is doing. You are beginning to understand who actually loves you, who actually just loves being around you, the energy that you give off. Don't really care too much to know about you, to understand you, nothing to even help carry your burden or anything like that. They just like being around you. And then you understand that there are people that only love you for what you can do for them, or what you can give them. And Abba's using that even still in that great shaking that he's doing. With that being said, make sure you test the spirit by the spirit. Hang on one second. Just trying to make sure Holy Spirit didn't have anything else to say, but just that in general. Just because you're old does not render you undying and unconditional loyalty and respect. No, you treat people, the golden rule, you treat people the way you want to be treated. You want to be treated with respect, you want to be treated with loyalty, you treat people the same way. You don't give nastiness out to them and toxicity out to them, drama and dysfunction out to them, and expect to get that back. You do not sit here and treat someone any kind of way and expect them not to react. Expect them to just bow down to whatever you're saying. You cannot dance on anybody's neck and think that they're just going to take it. No, that's not how that works. And I can't even say count your days because you're out of time. So if you've been on the wrong side of the fence, you've been that tare instead of that wheat, you're out of time. That judgment is coming. Vindication, justice, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. He hits harder. And so you will reap what you sow. And you sow sparingly, you will reap sparingly. You sow plentifully, you will reap plentifully. But it also is dependent on the type of seed that you are spreading and that you are planting. If you are planting bad seed and you are reaping, if you are planting a lot of bad seed, where it says you if you sow plentifully, if you're sowing plentiful bad seeds, you're going to reap plentiful bad. If you're only sowing sparingly those good deeds, you're only going to reap sparingly those good deeds. You cannot sit here and treat anybody any kind of way and do little things. Well, okay, maybe I would throw you a bone here. I might throw you a bone there, and think you're going to walk into this abundance. That's not how it works. But yeah, just because you're old does not render you this undying, unconditional respect and loyalty. You treat people the way you want to be treated. You treat them like a human being. You treat them with respect. You treat them with gentleness. You treat them with kindness. And if you are expecting loyalty, you need to give loyalty. It's not, it's reciprocity, especially in this season. It's about reciprocity. We're not sitting here entertaining things that are not in the space of reciprocity. We're not entertaining that. If you're just in the space of just taking and taking and taking and taking, and Abba is showing you, Abba is showing all of us, and it's going to thank you, Holy Spirit. It's going to show itself. It's going to show itself. Every knee will bow, every tongue will confess, and you will see. You will see what was God, you will see what was not God, and you will see what you did, you will see what you didn't do. You will reap what you sow. It's happy birthday. It's happy birthday for the red and for the blue. The blue is the blessings, the red is the judgment. It's happy birthday. So that's all Abba had for me to share. Excuse me, Holy Spirit had for me to share. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Do the thing with the thing. Remember, God is love, Jesus the way, the truth, and the life. And I'll be back on the next video. Okay, ciao.